So I've been playing with the sign tonight, and because the font is not, I don't know how to say it, a straightforward font. Typically, what I do on these projects is I would import the PDF as what they call a canvas, and then I would use this sketch tool to create lines and trace around that PDF, right? In this case, because we've got these little notches and things that make it look almost like a pirate font, tracing it was not going to make it look right. So instead I converted the PDF to a DXF. What I don't like about that is that you end up with a bajillion entities, in this case 17,000. So if I zoom in along here, everywhere there's a point is the end of an entity. And this has been calculated up at 17,000 different entities. So with a file size that large, I doubt that the plasma cutter would accept it, even if we did 4x8 sheets and just did several of them. I think what I had said before was, let's just do, I thought I'd just drop some lines in here where we separated this thing out, right? But because the T sort of overlaps the H and the A definitely overlaps the T, and it just gets kind of messy. I don't think there's a good way for me to do a sign where there's just every letter is its own panel, if you want that negative cutout. And then I thought I'd run, you still have a problem with it. You'd have to run like a vertical panel for every letter up here, and then a horizontal panel for, grab several letters down here. That's going to look kind of weird, and then, like I said, because the things are overlapping, I don't think this is going to work very well. The easiest thing to do that would be cheaper is to, instead of doing a negative, which is going to look like that, and they said it's a brick wall, so you would see the bricks through the holes. Why don't we cut out individual letters? If we did that, and I can't really highlight them that way. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. Then the brick would, yeah, there's just so much data here, the computer's really slow. But the brick would then be concealed wherever there was a letter, but you could still do the rusty letter look, and I would just do standoffs between the letters and the brick wall. And then if a person was really determined, it'd be kind of hard to run the wiring, but you could run LED lighting behind it so that it lit up the wall, and that the sign became a shadow. Let me know what you think, because I think that is going to keep the size of the panels manageable. Each letter, like this letter I already measured horizontally, is 17 inches. If I measure vertically, it's a 2 foot tall letter here. So the 2 foot by 2 foot, 2 foot by 1.5 foot letter, that's a pretty good size chunk of metal. If you're up for that idea, then I'll start sending off the files to see what they take to, how long they take to get cut, and then I'll get a price on steel. And then I suppose I would have to talk to Leah again, because we need to figure out how many anchors and how many bolt holes have to go through each letter in order to withstand the wind and everything, since we'd be separating it out completely differently. Yeah, aside from that, I think that it would be better to build the frame and then cover it in canvas and print it, or just put one big piece of steel up there and then use vinyl or something. There's obviously 1,000 ways to make a sign, but the negative on a 20-foot sign. Oh, the last thing I wanted to talk about was, when you do, if we got 4x8 sheets, and so we weld 3 of those together, you get the 8 foot, 16 feet, and then basically half of one. If you did that, welding that seam together and then not painting the sign or doing something to conceal that weld mark, I mean, you're just never going to get that to look right. Now, maybe you're okay with that. That's just part of the rustic antique look, and that would be fine too. But the sign just becomes so heavy and unwieldy, and it's going to be flopping around, and that's just going to be a very difficult sign to build. So we can obviously have a phone conversation about this, but those are my thoughts on it. So thank you.